So let us try to finish our discussion on MRP. MRP के बारे में शायद आपको ध्यान होगा हमने अभी तक क्या क्या किया है. क्या किया है हमने MRP पे अभी तक? What we have discussed? Anyone who can very quickly speak about MRP, what we have done, and what are the subtopics that we have covered? Anyone very quickly? Anyone can recall it? No recalling. Okay. So what is MRP? हाँ, मटेरियल्स रिक्वायरमेंट प्लानिंग. हाँ, मटेरियल्स रिक्वायरमेंट प्लानिंग में हमने कंसेप्चुअली इसको समझा कि ये क्या है. फिर हमने क्या किया था? एग्रीगेट प्रोडक्शन प्लान, राइट. हमने उसकी बात की थी. फिर प्रोडक्शन शेड्यूल की बात की थी. उसके बाद हमने मटेरियल्स रिक्वायरमेंट प्लानिंग की बात की थी. और हमने समझने की कोशिश करी कि आपका जो MRP है वो डिपेंडेंट डिमांड पे बेस्ड है. हाँ, हम दो तरह की डिमांड की आपकी बात कर रहे थे. वन वाज इंडिपेंडेंट डिमांड एंड अनदर इज dependent demand. So needless to say that when we are talking of MRP, we are actually talking about dependent demand system, right? And when we are talking of MRP, we are also talking of inventory management technique. So you can take it as an inventory management technique, right? Because what we do in inventory, we are trying to manage our inventory when we are actually applying MRP into our production system. So then we have talked about how to do that, and when we were trying to understand how to do that, we have actually tried to understand some terms, and these terms were like bill materials, modular bills. This is what we have done. We have also talked about product structure, and we have also talked about time phase product structure. We have also talked about lead time. So this is what we have tried to cover by now. And now in continuation to that, let us start from where we have left that day. We were on to this. And when we were trying to look at this, we were trying to understand that by looking at this, we actually are getting all the information, right? So if you can recall, this was the product structure for which that time phase lead structure was actually formulated. Now it actually tells you that A has two D's and B will be only assembled when you have two D's and when you have two E's. So this is the thing that we were looking at, and looking at this, we actually have then gone into this thing. So this is the final thing which actually speaks of what all would be required while we are trying to manufacture a product which is A. Now the only thing which is missing in this is how many sub-materials would be required in manufacturing of A. So for here you can actually see that the 3 C's would be required, but in this it is not mentioned. So this is something that you can always do. You can put 3 in parentheses of it. So that would make it a complete time phase product structure, right? And we know that why it is important, because we can actually understand that what material would be required at what time. So need not to order material which would reach in our production house before its requirement arises. So this is how it actually helps us in managing the inventory. In continuation to that, then by having all this thing that we already discussed, we were talking of this, and this is actually a typical MRP structure, which is materials requirement planning structure. We were talking last time that MRP nowadays has become a computer and a machine operated technique. We do not talk of MRP being run manually on pages with pen and pencil. We talk of it being run using softwares, right? So if you would type onto Google MRP softwares, you will get a huge list of it. Like so, starting from the big companies in software segment like Tata Consultancy Services, everyone is actually providing the MRP solutions. So you can go onto there and you can purchase the product as per your liking. In fact, you can also download some of these softwares onto your system to just have an idea of that how do these softwares work. They have a trial period, so after that they will not run, but till that actually you can actually come to know about the interface of it. So this is about your MRP. So needless to say, we have already discussed that there is something which we have to give as input into the system, and this input is in the form of bills of material, lead time, inventory data, and purchasing data. So all this should be getting into the software using this computer, and then this can actually generate the reports. So reports, whatever way you would like to generate. We were also discussing that now there is no limit into how you can use this MRP system. You can fully automate it. You can kind of restrict it to the fully automation. You can require the manual handling of it also, depending upon your own liking. Other day I was telling you that even you can tune it to the extent that the system itself is actually giving and sending the demands by automated mails to the suppliers directly without intervention of a human. So the mail is directly landing into the inbox of your supplier, and the supplier would know that it is an automatic generated mail. So I need to supply the order to it, and then automatically things are happening. So end of the day, you can actually come to know that what was ordered today and when it is expected to reach. So this is something how it works. This is about your MRP thing. Now this is a video which actually speaks about how MRP system is actually being used by the people, and what types of solutions are available in terms of softwares when you are talking of accessing or managing your inventory, right? So there are n number of players who are providing solutions in terms of softwares. You can go into YouTube and you can read about them, whatever whatever quantity that you want. So now continuing with this, because let us not spend time onto what it is and how does it work. We actually know all these things, but it is just a graphical representation. Right? So there is nothing which is like new into it that we are actually or were not aware of. Now this is something that we actually know it. It is just that a graphical and a videography representation of it. Now this is something which is showing you that how the software works. You have to enter certain amount of data, and entering that data in conjunction with the production schedule, master production schedule that you will give it as an input, it will actually be able to generate some kind of reports, whatever way that you would like. Now having done this, let us try to kind of figure it out manually also, how does these things work. Because last time when we were doing this discussion, we have also added some terms into it, and these terms were lead time, and these terms were the items in stock, and combining this actually you come to know about the final required items. So if I am to take you back to the product structure that we have already done for those speakers kit, so for that thing, this is the kind of chart that you can actually prepare, and this chart basically is a kind of a comprehensive chart keeping the lead time in mind, and accordingly you would now know that when to order what. So if you would analogically keep it in parallel with the time phase product structure, you would realize that it is actually talking a little bit in more detail. So if you would actually go, kind of go to this thing, which is your the horizontal axis on the top of it, you would realize that this is speaking of weeks, and the time phase product structure was also talking of weeks. So this is week number 1, week number 2, week number 3 till 8 weeks, because it would require 8 weeks for the completion of this product. Now the lead time is mentioned here, you can read about it, and then this is the amount of quantity which is required. Suppose you need to generate 50 A's, and for that 50 A's, keeping in mind that what actually you have, what you don't have, you can actually prepare even more detailed kind of a plan to it. So with those 50 requirements, you know now every A would require 2 B's, so 100 B's would be required if we have to manufacture 50 A's. Now these 100 B's, because they have 2 weeks of lead time, so they need to be ordered on week number 5th, because we need B at 7th week so that we can prepare A in time, right? So this is how it has actually been prepared. So now you know that if B is required in 200 units, because for every A there were 4 B's which were required, and the lead time for B is 1 week, so you would need to order it on week number 4, because you would require it on week number 5. So this is how actually it has been prepared. Now just to kind of add something into it and how this software works, to do it manually once. Now if we can add this data into that earlier structure and earlier table, we can also draw a little bit more detailed version of it. And if you can see it now, if you also add the inventory at hand, right? If you can also add the gross requirement, which we already had, and if you can actually add the inventory at hand, now it speaks that you already have 10 A's available with you. So now how many D's would be required and when, and how many G's would be required and when, and how many P's or whatever would be required at what time. Now you know now that the 50 A's would require 100 B's and if you have the 20 B's available with you, then you would require 80 B's. So accordingly the mathematics is done. Now here how it is done is you require 50 A's, but 10 A's were already in stock, and for every kind of A you would require 2 B's. So now the A's which are to be manufactured are 40 because you already had 10 A's with you. So for 40 A's you would require 80 B's. So if in stock you have 50 B's available, then B's which are to be ordered are 65, right? So this is how it actually comes out, and this is actually the depiction of all that we have done. Now how can you read this is up? You can actually see that this is the item to be produced A, this is in hand, and because 10 are already there with you, so you would only need 40 A's, right? And net required is again 40, right? So accordingly you can calculate it. So B's are required are 2 times than the A's, so the net requirement of A is 40. So actual requirement of B is going to be 80, right? Because you already had 10 A's in stock. And if you have 15 B's in hand, then you can deduct 15 from 80, and the net requirement of B is going to be 65, right? So that way you can actually calculate the stuff. You are asking something? ऊपर से जा रहा है. अच्छा, who will try to explain this? कोई explain करेगा? क्या कह रहे हो? इसकी ज़रूरत पड़ेगी कि किस तरह से ये आपका फुली ऑटोमेटिक है. देखिए इसमें दो चीज़ें हैं. एक तो चीज़ ये है कि मैं अब आपका ग्रुप डिस्कशन भी कराऊंगा, आज ही कराऊंगा इसके ऊपर या किसी दूसरे टॉपिक के ऊपर. MRP हमने पढ़ लिया, हमने जान लिया. TCS आपको सॉफ्टवेयर प्रोवाइड करेगा, आपके सॉफ्टवेयर्स अवेलेबल भी हैं सारे के सारे. नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज, शुड ईच एंड एवरी कंपनी एग्जिस्टिंग अंडर द सन, should they be using softwares for their MRPs? Now this is the question. Are you getting the point? क्या हर वो कंपनी जो आज प्रोडक्शन में है, या हर वो कंपनी, प्रोडक्शन छोड़ो, MRP तो आप कहीं भी कर सकते हो. इवन अ डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर कैन यूज़ MRP, बिकॉज डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर का मेजर कॉस्ट कहाँ जाता है? इन्वेंट्री के अंदर. तो ये इन्वेंट्री मैनेजमेंट टेक्निक है, तो इसको आप एज ए डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर भी यूज़ कर सकते हैं. तो आप एक डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर हैं, तो क्या आप सॉफ्टवेयर खरीदें? हाँ, आप मारुति हैं, आप खरीदें. आप BMW हैं, आप खरीदें. आप बड़ी कंपनी हैं, आप खरीदें. आपकी फाइनेंशियल मसल स्ट्रॉन्ग है, आप खरीद लें. तो हर कंपनी को क्या इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए इसमें, कंप्यूटर बेस्ड MRP सिस्टम्स में? तो इसका जवाब शायद है ना. हर कंपनी के लिए शायद ये नहीं है. अगर आपको ध्यान हो, वी हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट असेंबली लाइन्स, एंड इन असेंबली लाइन्स ऑल्सो वी हैड अ क्वेश्चन दैट शुड वी ऑटोमेट असेंबली लाइन्स और शुड नॉट वी ऑटोमेट असेंबली लाइन्स. And then while trying to answer that question, we realized that perhaps assembly lines automation is not for everyone, because it requires huge amount of investment, and hence there are some points, और उन points को हमने क्या कहा था? वर्क स्टेशंस. कुछ वर्क स्टेशंस को हम ऑटोमेट कर सकते हैं, कुछ को मैनुअल छोड़ सकते हैं. वो कॉस्ट सेविंग की बात थी. ऐसे ही यहाँ MRP की जब बात करें तो सॉफ्टवेयर है हमारे पास, लेकिन हर जगह सॉफ्टवेयर हो सकता है आपका काम ना करे. इस चीज़ को यूज़ कर आप, अगर आपको एक्सेल आता है तो आप एक्सेल के अंदर ये फॉर्मूला लगाकर ऑटोमेटिकली यू विल जस्ट एंटर द थिंग्स एंड ऑटोमेटिकली यू विल नो व्हाट इज नेट रिक्वायरमेंट. बट टू बी एबल टू डू दैट यू शुड नो हाउ इज इट वर्किंग. मैथमेटिकल कैलकुलेशन इसके पीछे क्या होंगी, जब तक वो नहीं पता होगा आप फॉर्मूलाज नहीं लगा पाएंगे. हाँ, एक्सेल कितने लोगों को अच्छे से आता है फॉर्मूला बेस्ड? क्या आप एक्सेल पे ये काम कर सकते हैं? हु आउट ऑफ यू कैन डू दिस? इट्स नॉट अ बिग चैलेंज. जिस तरह से आप जो है ना, एकदम से ऐसा हो गया कि बिजली गिर गई है, ऐसा नहीं है. तो अटेम्प्ट कौन करेगा इसको? एनीवन कैन अटेम्प्ट इट इन एक्सेल. मे बी द सेम थिंग, कोई बहुत ज़्यादा वो नहीं इसमें. मुझे बस ये कॉलम चाहिए, एंड आई वुड लाइक टू गिव दिस एज एन इनपुट व्हाट इज इन माय हैंड एंड व्हाट इज एक्चुअली टू बी. और ये भी हमें ज़रूरत नहीं है, वो भी आपका फॉर्मूला से निकल आएगा. बस ये और ये चीज़ कि हमें क्या चाहिए. कोई बना सकता है एक्सेल की शीट इसमें? Shirinu, you can do that, but you are not in productions and operations, but still you can help us. ठीक है जी. और कोई साथ देगा शिरीनु का इस शीट को बनाने में, एक्सेल शीट? जितिन, you are a computer man, can you do this? डाटा का टेंशन नहीं लेना है, आपने इंटरफेस जनरेट करना है. एक ऐसा इंटरफेस जिसके अंदर जब डाटा डाला जाए तो वो हमें ये चीज़ देते हैं. नहीं, लेट मी शो यू हाउ. हर उसकी रिक्वायरमेंट आपकी कि किसकी रिक्वायरमेंट आपकी क्या है उसकी बात यहाँ पर आपकी हो रही है. So this is your MRP, and in this MRP you can also use it in more complex phenomenons. So softwares जैसे कि सुधीर कह रहे थे कि सॉफ्टवेयर के थ्रू से किया जा सकता है. Many a times it so happens that you are producing two different types of products, and these two different types of products might have the requirement of similar component. Now, for example, if Maruti is producing Swift and if it is producing Ritz, maybe that they are using the same type of brake shoes, right? So that brake shoe requirement for both the products is going to be kind of similar. तो इसी तरह से यहाँ ये दिखाया गया है कि B की रिक्वायरमेंट A बनाने के लिए भी है और S बनाने के लिए भी है. तो इन दोनों का क्यूमुलेटिव जो है वो भी आपका बनाकर ये डिमांड की जा सकती है कि फर्स्ट वीक में मुझे 10 चाहिए, सेकंड में कितने चाहिए, थर्ड में कितने चाहिए, फोर्थ में कितने चाहिए. सो दिस आप 10 तरह के प्रोडक्ट्स भी बना रहे हैं, उन 10 का कंबाइंड रिक्वायरमेंट भी जो है वो आपका MRP सिस्टम जनरेट करके दे सकता है. एंड दैट कैन ऑल्सो बी डन यूजिंग Excel also. So for those who cannot afford these systems, you can actually make your life little easy by producing these Excel sheets. Right? This can be done. So you can have more and more number of products with their product structures. This is kind of a very simple thing shown to you, but this A's product structure can be huge. So B is further requiring say D and E and O, so you keep on making. Similarly for S also, and then for every subpart, if it is being used in more than one products, for that also you can have the requirements week wise. So therefore the gross requirement for B is going to be 10, 50, 40, 50, 20, 45, and then once you have actually arrived at this number, you can actually segregate it to the separate departments who are in the process of making these different products. Right? उसका closing में ये मैं आपको दिखाना चाह रहा हूँ क्योंकि this is just to let you know that even the complex products like this ambulance, which is wheeled coach, which is a customized products also, they actually cannot achieve it without MRP. तो इनके लिए जो इस स्केल पर काम करते हैं उनके लिए MRP सॉफ्टवेयर का होना, सिस्टम का होना, कंप्यूटर्स का होना is a good bit, but not everyone can actually have this. So in this video they are very clearly showcasing that without MRP we could not achieve the kind of cost cutting that we have been able to do, because we would realize when we will do the discussion on inventory management in times to come that your inventory cost can be as much as 50% of your total operations cost. So it is huge. If you can minimize it, you just do that. And they are telling this only. So for a product which actually requires thousands of parts, without MRP, it is kind of a hue and cry. You actually are ordering everything at once and you just do not know what to do when. Right? And it also takes time, and inventory management is a very costly exercise. So this is what they are telling, that this is how we are using materials requirement planning to be able to save a lot of cost onto inventory, right, for this company. Okay, so this is about management materials requirement planning. If you have any questions on this, then we may take up those questions, or we are done with this topic as of now. So you can go on to internet and YouTube and you can find this video and you can actually understand it, and then you would know that the kind of softwares they are using and how they have been able to use and utilize MRP in achieving the kind of cost efficiency that they have been able to do, right? Okay, so this is about MRP.